We welcome you to hour number 2 of the College Football Today Bowl Bonanza, live right here on this final Saturday of 2024. He is Joe Lisi. He is Kevin Walsh. I am Ben Stevens. 8 FBS bowl games on this final Saturday in December. It is the most games on a single day, the entirety of this bowl season. No other day even has more than 5. We've got 8 on this last Saturday in the calendar year, and they start bright and early, just about an hour away. Our first of 2 games played in a baseball stadium on this Saturday. We head up to Boston, where we go to Fenway Park to see North Carolina take on UConn. 8-win Connecticut, where you might be thinking, New England, football, Bill Belichick? Oh, yeah, Bill Belichick, new head coach of UNC. Bill has said he will not be in attendance at Fenway Park today to see UNC and Freddie Kitchens take on Jim Mora Jr. and the Huskies. But, of course, Lisi Guy, the aura of Chapel Bill will really surround this game as everybody focuses on Fenway to get us started on this final Saturday in December.
Showing out before spring camp in terms of Bill Belichick in late March, early April. We'll see how that plays out. Both offenses are similar, averaging 32 points per game. They both like to run it. UConn rushing for 198 yards per game. You have UNC a $189. UConn 202 through the air, 233 for North Carolina. But it comes down to the physicality, which defense will step up. You have UConn only giving up 23 points per game. Much better, in my opinion, in run support, only allowing opposing offenses to pound the rock for 133 yards on the ground. Here's the thing. I expect this game to be lower scoring. There's bad weather in terms of the forecast, rain, wind. We saw both of these games play out in terms of the Fenway Bowl. They trended to the under. Louisville and Cincinnati was 24-7 2 years ago. Last year, Boston College, SMU crushed the under in terms of that was like a 69.5, 70 number. It was 23-14. I think we're in the area of maybe 30, 40, total. I think UConn potentially is within striking distance. I like more in this spot going up against an interim staff with Freddie Kitchens. I think their defense will get it done, and I think they run the football.
So UConn's 8-4.
Yeah.
What are the 4 losses? All against the power teams they play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, I get it for UConn. That the goal is, being 8-4 is incredible, but they're playing a power team today. It's 2.5. That's a little ridiculous, if we're being honest. Now, Hampton's out.
Yeah.
Best player on the defensive side of the ball for North Carolina is going to miss this game. I get we have to move some things, but it is also not as if UConn's power games were against Texas, Ohio State, and Oregon. Maryland in the opener, smashed. Then they played Duke, and they hung around. They were down 7 or 10 at the break. Wake Forest, they hung. Bad team. But down 7 at the break. They play Syracuse. I'll be nice.
Great orange team.
10-3
orange team.
Fran Brown.
Third time since 1992.
They don't quit. They step up in bowl games. Don't cover, but
a very overrated.
It depends on where you got that number.
A very, very overrated football team, the Syracuse.
Highly disagree. Historic football team is what Kevin meant to say.
Wow.
No, not what I meant to say.
Historic.
Kyle McCord, massively overrated as well. Ohio State made the right decision.
Let us, yes.
But Syracuse was up by 7+ at the break in that game as well. So for me, I think with Freddie Kitchens, who's supposed to be on the Bill Belichick staff, you have to be prepped coming into this game. Bill not being there or not, you need to make sure that this is still a springboard here, and you're not going to springboard by losing to UConn. And what I've seen from UConn is still up against the power team. They're not really within reach. I took a -125 first half money line, which is a really nice number there when you look around on UConn to be winning at halftime in this game. Little get in, get out special.
It is really interesting to see the roster fluctuation that we are going to see for North Carolina throughout the remainder of this offseason with a new head coach in Bill Belichick coming in and what that means for this bowl game. Still many roster questions for the Tar Heels entering the Fenway Bowl. Omarion Hampton, one of the best running backs in the country the last 2 college football seasons, heading to the NFL draft, not playing in this bowl game. To your point, Kev, Connecticut has been an underdog 4 times this year against the 4 power conference teams that you mentioned. The 2 covers for Jim Mora's Huskies as a double-digit dog against both Duke and Syracuse. almost covered against Wake. They lost the game by 3 as a 2.5-point dog. They run the football very, very well. Cam Edwards and Darrell Robinson, both more than 730 yards on the ground this year. Robinson in the portal, committed to Auburn. Cam Edwards expected to play today against this North Carolina side, who will have a new defensive scheme of sorts next year as well, Lisi guy, as we got word this week that Steve Belichick, yes, the son of Bill, Washington defensive coordinator this year for the Huskies, is now set to join his father in Chapel Hill.
Oh, that's a huge upgrade. Just look at what the Huskies did in terms of the defensive perspective, held opposing offenses to 21 points per game, very physical against rushing offenses. They shut down Michigan, some step-up spots from a defensive perspective. They played very well, especially in his first year calling plays on the defensive side of the ball. So an immediate upgrade. I think when you look at North Carolina's defense this year, they were a complete sieve. I mean, at points in the year, they're giving up 30, 40 points per game. Look at that early matchup where they gave up 70-plus. Cannot happen under Bill Belichick. So this is an evaluation point. You want to see which players fit the scheme, which players don't, how you could utilize certain talent. And I'm sure that Belichick, Mike Lombardi, and his son are going to be evaluating this bowl game from afar today.
So Lombardi, I believe on McAfee, said the priority was figuring out the offensive line and quarterback. And I'd like to believe that's because Belichick, both the Belichicks, are like, we got these 11. Don't worry about it. Warm bodies. We'll figure out the defensive side of the football. And that should be the case, realistically.
Yeah.
Like, for year one of North Carolina, regardless of win total or anything, if they don't have a good defense, that would then be very concerning to me for this team moving forward. What I am interested in, and I don't fully have the grasp on, is so they've not brought in like a quarterback yet, right? We're still waiting to figure out what's going to happen with Quinn Ewers, what's going to happen with Carson Beck. Can you explain to me can those two still hit the portal? Time passed, spring?
They could only go in spring because the final day of the winter portal is today, December 28th.
So, but would it be a situation like Quinn Ewers is obviously going to make the decision of whether he's going into the draft before April, right?
Yeah.
So can he be like, I'm going to transfer out, and you'll find out where then? Like, can a deal be made? Like, because, again, if Quinn Ewers, for example, is going back, who I've said I could see landing at North Carolina, we all know he's not going back to Texas. Same with, I don't think back to Georgia. I don't think.
Yeah, it's so based on the academic calendar, just the logistics of it all. If they do not enter by today, which we do not expect to be the case for either Carson Beck or Quinn Ewers, they would have to enter in the spring transfer portal. More than likely, they've been in college for a while. Is there a different structure for a graduate student as opposed to an undergrad? Could they enroll right away, be there for spring practice? I'm not entirely sure, but that's one of the reasons we have seen players enter the transfer portal during this time, even for the college football playoff, because you want to be enrolled for next semester, which starts in a few weeks after winter break, to be there for winter workouts and spring practice. I would say that's the position UNC has not figured out yet. Today it will be Jacoby Criswell, who was, of course, the Arkansas transfer, but is out of eligibility, it would seem.
And won some games for North Carolina, right? It started week one when Max Johnson went down. They were on a revolving door at the quarterback position. They've stepped up. They became bowl eligible. Credit Mac Brown and the staff for at least getting them that far, and we'll see what Belichick can do. But to your point about Ewers and Carson Beck, it's going to be that decision potentially in the spring after this season is passed. Maybe Carson Beck goes to, as a graduate assistant, not a graduate assistant, a graduate to Miami. You know, he could put up some numbers there. Has a keen interest in the Hurricanes.
I mean, maybe so. Oh, I see what you did there. I do. We'll talk more transfer portal on the other side. You saw the win total, by the way, for UNC next year. The juice just keeps adding up on the over of 7.5. Transfer portal news next.
In the heart of winter, when nights grow long, we come together under these lights. A team, united by purpose. Fans bound by passion. each holding a small flicker of hope in their hands. At SportsGrid, we believe that even the darkest nights can't dim the unity we share. One team, one stadium, one shining moment. This holiday season, we shine brighter together. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It is that wonderful time of year in college football. Just a few days away from the start of the quarterfinal round of the college football playoff. Our bowl bonanza on this final Saturday of 2024. 8 FBS bowl games, but of course, always an eye on the future in CFB. Some significant transfer portal news this week in college football. Some quarterbacks finding a new home. And Kev, we just talked about the timeline for some potential names that if they decide that college is still in their best interest, might have to enroll in the transfer portal later in the spring window because the winter window closes today. One of the big news, of course, as we got ready for the college football playoff was Penn State's backup, and not just a backup who might see the field if somebody got injured, but a guy who was heavily a part of the offensive scheme of Andy Kotelnicki, Bo Prabula, who entered the transfer portal before Penn State's opening game against SMU and has now found his new home. He is headed to Missouri, the quarterback of the future for the Tigers, looking to build off a season where they stayed in the top 25 virtually all year long in Columbia.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting fit. I think Prabula is kind of now one of the unknown variables of next college football season. Certainly he's had some pedigree going to Penn State. We know the athleticism that he brings to the position, and now he's going to be at a power school that you mentioned, ranked in the top 25 all season. I think the question to me is, and because I saw this mentioned, I don't remember where, but was, okay, can he now just go back to Penn State? Like, in all seriousness, like, why is it he's got his school, he's got his money. I can't imagine Missouri would tell him no. Maybe they would. Like, why does Bo Prabula now not have the opportunity to rejoin Penn State now that this is all sorted out? I don't know. Maybe I guess I haven't been in college that recently. There aren't classes until the playoff is over. Am I wrong about that?
But I think when again, I don't know.
It's
but
crazy.
Academic calendar, once you enroll as a student, I believe your eligibility then changes over to that school. That would be my presumption.
Now, kids that were in the transfer portal for Kenny Dillingham with Arizona State have practiced
They might have made their intention known, but they have not necessarily declared for a new school. A little bit different, I would say,
I'm just
for a
saying,
quarterback.
so that's the gray area of the transfer portal where they're in, but they're still part of the team. They still want to practice. They still want to get those reps. It's a crazy situation in regards to the transfer portal.
And Bo Prabula is an interesting quarterback prospect, not necessarily your prototypical pocket passer who's just going to sling it. obviously did not get the opportunity he expected as the heir apparent to Drew Aller in State College. Of course, Aller back in 2025. Very athletic, though, at the quarterback position. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Curt Cignetti, production over promise in Fernando Mendoza. Cal's quarterback, after 2 successful years in Berkeley, is now going to be the signal caller for IU. Indiana winning this race by reports over Georgia and Miami in the transfer portal. A good Christmas week for Indiana. They get your guy, Lisi, Hemby, Roman Hemby, the proven running back for Maryland. Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback of the future in Bloomington, and one of the best defensive linemen in the sport, certainly in the Big Ten. Third-team All-American Mikhail Kamara, back for Indiana next year as well. IU reloading in the roster way that it is constructed by Cignetti for what might be another successful season in Bloomington.
It's a good fit for Mendoza, and it's a great fit for Curt Cignetti. Look what he did in regards to Curtis Rourke, elevating his game. You know, Curtis Rourke, one of the best productive passers in the Big Ten. Mendoza, big body, strong arm, mobile. He's not going to run it like Cam Ward or some of the other mobile quarterbacks, but he does have great pocket presence, could always break, contain, and has stepped up in terms of step-up spots. Played toe-to-toe with Miami, had them dead to rights, 35-10, and they lost that matchup and went toe-to-toe with Florida State earlier in the year, became bowl eligible. So it's a really nice fit for Indiana. I never saw Mendoza going to the likes of maybe Miami or Georgia. I think that might have been a reach. They might have put out feelers, but I think it's a good fit in terms of Indiana. I don't think Mendoza's an elite quarterback. I think he's a solid quarterback, and it's a good fit with the Indiana Hoosiers.
I think Mendoza should be excited. You know, they're going to open up with ODU, run it up. Kennesaw, run it up.
Sure.
Indiana State, run it up.
FCS.
And then if they feel like Illinois is a big game, he won't be allowed to do anything. And then Iowa, he won't be allowed to do anything. And Cignetti will bottle up, be horrified, and Mendoza will probably regret
it. You see that Indiana schedule for 2025?
I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying, get ready to be big mad in November once again.
College football playoff contender.
You think so?
Oh, I don't think it's overly difficult.
So I think Oregon beat them so badly that we won't even do the charade. See, let me be very clear.
Oregon earlier in the year for the Hoosiers than second to last.
The huge benefit to Indiana was how late the Ohio State game was.
Doubt.
We were already into the awful TV show where we have to rank everybody.
Yeah.
So now we couldn't move Indiana too far. But
not college football today, by the way.
No, what a phenomenal program that is. No, the ranking show. And that's not even actually a shot to anybody who works on the show. It's the concept is putting all of these things in a box. Mm-hmm. So when Oregon smashes them and hands them their second loss anyway, I'll be Mr. Hawkeye, don't you worry, come September 27th.
Love this guy.
This will be done. Like, that is Indiana will win their first 3 games on average by 35-plus points.
Sure.
You will.
I'm so
you can't help yourself.
Of course.
Tweet that they need to be ranked, right? And then
I think they're going to be ranked.
I wouldn't let them near my AP top 25.
They're going to be it.
Why?
They're going to be a preseason top 25 team.
Whoa, they're frauds and cowards. A fraud and a coward?
They're going to be at least top 12, top 15, probably top 10 in the AP final poll this year.
But next year they won't be. Preseason.
17 be my guess.
I'll take the over.
Over 17.
All right.
Well,
little lunch bet.
What do you want?
Be fighting
higher,
words.
Lower? Actually, we'll do that a little bit later on. I would just say, I think Indiana going to be a team to watch out for. I will be really excited to see their win total.
I hope
5.5 entering this year.
He cost me some money this year.
Here's where things get interesting for another Big Ten team, the Maize and Blue of Michigan.
Yeah.
Of course, we know that Bryce Underwood is there practicing already as they get ready for the ReliaQuest Bowl a little bit later this week. Mikey Keene, though, proven experienced Fresno State signal caller, there to provide that pedigree as Bryce Underwood learns. Who's going to start next year for Michigan in the season opener?
It better be Underwood.
I still think it should be Underwood. More of the transfer portal up next.
Mikey Keene again.
In the heart of winter, when nights grow long, we come together under these lights. A team, united by purpose. Fans bound by passion. Each holding a small flicker of hope in their hands. At SportsGrid, we believe that even the darkest nights can't dim the unity we share. One team, one stadium, one shining moment. This holiday season, we shine brighter together. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
More news and notes around college football here on our Bowl Bonanza Day of college football today. It has not been an easy offseason for Kalen DeBoer, moving from year number 1 in Tuscaloosa to his second year. A lot of talent for the Crimson Tide, alarmingly so in the transfer portal, including some of their promising young running backs like Justice Haynes, who hit the portal for Alabama and now will play for Michigan, the Maize and Blue, after a down year, but still ending on a positive note with the upset of Ohio State, adding some talent in the transfer portal this past week. Kev, you can either talk about Michigan reloading a roster that won a national championship 2 years ago, and still, by all accounts, you beat Ohio State for a 4th consecutive season. It is seen as successful, or the idea of Alabama's uneasy offseason so far. What stands out more to you about what Justice Haynes and many others for the Crimson Tide have decided to do?
Yeah, you know, whenever I see Alabama news, it reminds me that, again, unless I've missed it, there is one piece of news that we haven't had confirmed, which is Jalen Milroe leaving, whether he is going to go to the NFL. Now,
correct.
I actually think it would be insane if he came back. Super down quarterback class, round 1 buzz.
Yeah.
Someone who should have been inside the top 10 of the Heisman finalists. But again, apparently the bias is actually against Alabama, which people have no idea. Again, he had a significantly better season than that of the kid up in New York. Just saying.
Wow.
He had a much better year than Kyle McCord.
He's talking about
He did have a much better year than McCord.
I thought you were talking about like New York City finalists.
No,
Gabriel or something.
Come on.
No, Gabriel.
When you speak about Kyle McCord, you put respect on his name. The ACC's all-time single-season passing yards leader, 4,779.
Hot take.
I think that's a Pitt player right there running in another pick 6 from that game that people pretend didn't
We're
have.
not allowed to have one bad day?
No, because nobody watches Syracuse football, so nobody knows it even happened.
Come on.
What?
That's unfortunate. Everybody loved the Holiday Bowl last night. You had it over, bang. You had the foresight like me to bet Syracuse early, minus 13.5, bang. Backdoor, Sevy Eckhouse. Oh, this guy.
You wrote me back in.
Yeah, come on.
If Milroe comes back, what, do you feel left out?
No, it sounded like it was planned.
If Milroe comes back,
I'm going to say something mean.
I actually think he's the only person who could be booked in front of Arch Manning as the Heisman favorite.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys would disagree. Again, I don't know why he would come back, but I don't know why he hasn't announced he's not coming back.
Well, it depends. I think he's waiting to see how this offseason in terms of the playoffs play out. You get some more feedback. You have an agent. You have people in your camp that are sort of directing you where to go. You can get more money if you come back to Alabama. Sure. If you transfer, you'll get this. I think it's all a money grab in terms of that. You want to maximize as much as you can in terms of the college perspective. And it's not just Milroe. I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Nico all of a sudden with the Instagram and everything in terms of his posts, you don't know with these players right now. You know, he got $8-9 million to go to Tennessee. Doesn't live up to expectations in terms of year one. Right. All of a sudden, if you can get $10 million at another school, you do it. Look at Jaden Rashada. He bounced from school to school to school to now where he's with Georgia. You never know what the money talks, right? And that's the biggest thing with players today. They're not professionals. They're 18 to 22-year-old kids. They're going to go with the best thing for them at that particular time. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
But it is important to note, some of that money is the reason kids will stick around.
Absolutely.
Bo Perbula reportedly got $1.5 million from Missouri. Jalen Milroe would absolutely demand and receive more than that to come back to Alabama. The money would not compare to what his salary would be as a first-round selection, but it's not all that far off if he believes he can better his career. We have not heard, by the way, but we do expect to see Jalen Milroe on Tuesday in the Reliant Quest Bowl against Michigan.
Not to harp on something that may not matter, but if he does come back.
Yeah.
Oh, Milroe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Title favorites? Like, I guess.
They'll be up there. They'd be top 5.
Like,
I wonder.
I think if Texas wins it, it's probably Texas.
Yeah.
If Ohio State wins it, it's probably Ohio State.
Oregon would be there.
Probably, but
Georgia, if they lose,
I think a lot of the teams that we see,
Notre Dame will be there.
If Milroe comes back, that is just so huge.
Depending upon how they play
quarterback and what things look like there. A couple of running backs, as we alluded to, Kanye Udoh. You could not find a bigger change in college landscape than West Point, New York, and our military academy, and then going out to Arizona State where they party hard in Tempe.
And Mensa got, $8 million to go to
That's
Duke?
The report, yeah.
I mean, $8
million. A lot of
million.
Kentucky receivers on the move, by the way. Barry and Brown now with
Huge pickup for
LSU.
LSU.
Dane Keto, huge for Nebraska. Dylan Raiola and the Huskers.
Harold Perkins goes back to
LSU?
that's
a great guy.
This guy,
Beautiful.
BK, found a lot of money under the mattress.
Like 3 years ago, Harold Perkins was going to be the next Michael Parsons, still playing college football. We go fast on this Bowl Bonanza Saturday. Up next.
In the heart of winter, when nights grow long, we come together under these lights. A team, united by purpose. Fans, bound by passion. Each holding a small flicker of hope in their hands. At SportsGrid, we believe that even the darkest nights can't dim the unity we share. One team, one stadium, one shining moment. This holiday season, we shine brighter together. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It's CFT's Bowl Bonanza. 8 FBS bowl games on this final Saturday of 2024. We've already previewed 4. We've got our first game up in less than 30 minutes in Boston, Fenway Park, North Carolina, and Connecticut. So we have to go fast. And I mean very fast here on CFT.
This kid was sick 12 hours ago, and he just beat me up all morning.
I'm back.
Let's try and go as fast as we can here to the park. It's RPO time. Oh, my goodness, man.
Hey.
Yeah.
Kind of in your neck of the woods.
What is?
This next game we're about to talk about.
The Pinstripe Bowl.
Yeah.
He's considering the Bronx and Queens.
I was thinking about the Fenway game.
You're a Five Boroughs guy. People might say he's a Garden State guy. Incorrect. Five Boroughs guy.
Now you're kissing up.
Yeah.
Boston College, Nebraska. This is a game where I know who I'm betting. I'm just being a little greedy. Nebraska 3.5, nearly everywhere. A 4 in the market. Could we get a few more 4s in the market? Could we get a 4.5? It looks like if you're going to be on Boston College, you'll be able to wait. I'm going to be able to wait in this game. I actually can't figure out this number at all. Nebraska completely beaten up in the portal on the defensive side of the football heading into this game. Grayson James in for Tommy Castellanos. Not as good as Not as good as Castellanos, but I thought James was pretty solid in the work that he had here. And hot take, coaching advantage?
Yes.
Give me Bill O'Brien and Boston College.
Well, I'll say this. Boston College did win 3 of the last 4 down the stretch. I like Grayson James. He won me some money against SMU, catching 18.5. They lost that ball game by 10 points, but he's a mobile kid.
Yeah.
He can move outside the pocket, not as athletic as Castellanos, but he could still move the pocket. And I like that rushing attack. I'm not going to say his name. 176 rushing yards per game. I think Boston College is a little bit more blue-collar. The transfers to Nebraska, I think, will hurt. And the wet track, I think, benefits Boston College a little bit more than Nebraska. Lean to the under, but I'm going to take the points. I think Boston College, Kev, wins it outright. Keep in mind this. Boston College 1-4 on the road straight up. They were 3-2, though, against the number, including a couple outright wins.
This is a game, to me, about will and mentality. Nebraska is playing in a bowl game for the first time since 2016. You want the curse to be lifted? You want to win the offseason national championship? It starts on a rainy and chilly Saturday up in the Bronx inside Yankee Stadium. Some call the Pinstripe Bowl the Rose Bowl of the East. I am not here to disagree. I bet this game very early on. Nebraska laying 4.5. Market has worked against me. We doubled down. Huskers -3.5. You guys are correct about some of the transfers that have entered on that elite defense for Nebraska this year, and Tony White, defensive coordinator, heading to Tallahassee for Florida State. But 2 guys have anchored that defensive front the last 2 years. Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker, in what might be their final games ever wearing the scarlet and cream of those Cornhuskers. Nebraska laying 3.5, 5-2-1 against the spread this year, Kev, as a favorite. But let's highlight Bill O'Brien and BC, one of 10 FBS teams this year, covering in more than 70% of their games.
You're having a breakout show.
He is. Breakout show with all the
it's like when
Rose Bowl of the East.
Yeah, that's what it's like when Rodgers was playing on the perks. Like I feel like you have all the the medicine going through you, and you're just playing at another level.
Immunized, yeah, I get it.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
TCU laying 10 in most spots, 9.5 at another.
Oof.
We always want to get the best of the number.
We do.
So we lay the 9.5 with TCU. Here's the deal for me. All Louisiana wants to do is throw the football. TCU has one of the better pass defenses in the Big 12. But the real key is the fact that Wooldridge, the starting quarterback for Louisiana, was injured earlier on in the season. Now, every indication is he will play in this game. But it was a close call. Had this bowl game been a week ago, he probably does not play. So, is he 100%? Can he finish it? I don't know. Maybe he's like, I'll give you a half of football here. And then we have to skip down the depth chart to QB3. Chandler Fields injured in their last game of the season. And if all of a sudden you have Daniel Beal throwing the football, TCU should be able to take advantage. I think that the Horned Frogs are the right side in this game.
I'm with you. We've seen big spreads typically go to the underdogs, but I like TCU. I think they have the passing advantage. Josh Hoover and that offense averaging 317 passing yards per game. This team has won 3 straight down the stretch by an average margin of victory of 17.6 points per game, battle-tested on the road or on a neutral field site. Sonny Dykes and that team, 8-4 overall, 4-2 on the road straight up. Give me TCU laying the 9.5. Typically, I would take the points, but I like TCU in the spot.
A lot of questions about Sonny Dykes and this Frogs team. Weeknight game against Houston. They were a 3-score favorite against the Cougs when Houston was struggling. In year number 1 against Willie Fritz, Houston won that game by 2 scores. What happened to this TCU team that made a magical run to the national championship just 2 years prior and had a losing season a year ago? TCU is an 8-win football team. Looking to win 9 games, exactly 9 for the first time in a season since 1955. You mentioned Josh Hoover. The Raging Cajun's not bad defending the pass either. Not great on the ground, but Savion Williams no longer there for TCU. I look to try to figure out what the Horned Frogs are going to do on the ground. By the way, Josh Hoover needs just 205 passing yards today to set the new single-season record in Horned Frogs football program history. Next up, let's move to a great game, the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl between Colorado State and Miami of Ohio. The Red Hawks, now a 2.5-point favorite. Lisi, guy, at times this week, this number was north of a field goal. How do you approach the market movement in the matchup of the Rams and the Red Hawks?
Well, typically I would say it would lean to Miami of Ohio. I like Martin. I like Gabbard. I like that team's experience in terms of bowl matchups, but they didn't step up in the MAC championship, got absolutely abused by a better Ohio team, and that's the concern I have going into this matchup. I actually like Colorado State with the points. Think they're a little bit more balanced. Give the edge, the quarterback edge, to Colorado State over Gabbard. I still think Gabbard breaks through his number today, 189.5, but I think this game is an under, but I want the points with the Rams. I just think they're more focused. The fact that Miami of Ohio just mailed it in a MAC championship game, now a month later, they might not even be dialed in for this bowl game. Typically, this bowl is an under as well.
So all the threes are gone. We're seeing 2.5 now.
Yeah.
I am telling you, I've capped every bowl game other than the UTSA Coastal game because I did not know that game was starting at 11 a.m. This is the most blech bowl game I have seen. I can't figure this thing out for the life of me. If I didn't put myself up to the task, I'm skipping this thing entirely. If I had to make a pick, which I'm telling myself I do, it is on Miami of Ohio, kind of going the other way, Lisi, of, man, what we did in our conference title game was an embarrassment, and we need to get up off of the map against a very fraudulent CSU team here. Also, these bowl games have been so insane. 2 might be a key number because everything gets to these 2-point shootouts. For
sure.
So I am waiting because I think I'd rather wait and lay flat 3 than miss out on a 1.5, it appears.
I think that total is interesting. Miami of Ohio, 4-4 against the spread as a favorite, covering in all 3 games as a single-digit favorite in those games, booked as the favorite side, over in 3 of 4 as well as the favorite. Colorado State won 6 of their final 7. They allow a decent amount of yardage, 393 yards per game, but just 24.3 points per game. The only team in the country allowing fewer than 25 points per game that allows more than 380 in terms of total yardage. This a very intriguing game that I know a few of us are going to be looking at some underdogs and maybe pulling off the outright upset. In-state showdown between NC State and East Carolina. 7.5-point spread in favor of the Wolfpack. But, Kev, I'm not so sure it's that easy.
Yeah, look, to me, you've got Harrell, who took over the job midseason, pair him with Hauser, the Michigan State transfer. Finished the year 4-1. The only loss came to Navy. A bit of a weird one. 37 points scored in the fourth quarter of that game here. NC State is atrocious. Maybe the worst powered team to make a bowl game. 7.5 too many.
I like East Carolina's passing attack. Give me ECU in the over.
Caton Hauser, the Michigan State transfer, will give you some picks up next.
In the heart of winter, when nights grow long, we come together under these lights. A team, united by purpose. Fans, bound by passion. each holding a small flicker of hope in their hands. At SportsGrid, we believe that even the darkest nights can't dim the unity we share. One team, one stadium, one shining moment. This holiday season, we shine brighter together. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We welcome you back to our college football today bowl bonanza. 8 FBS bowl games on this final Saturday in 2024. It is now time to find some winning wagers. It was just Christmas. Maybe you spent a lot on presents for your family and friends. Let's fill up that pocketbook on this Saturday morning, Kevin Walsh.
Shall we, folks? Hit the end zone, maybe? A little pay dirt pay. Trying to bog me down with this show.
Shall we,
I'm going
folks?
through a tough time here.
Yeah.
Classic restaurant closed down. We're finding out. It's breaking.
Our spot. We're going to cater the national championship, too.
No, stop. No, maybe we could have saved them. We could have did like the pizzeria in Baltimore. All right, let's hit the end zone. So Cam Ward,
Yeah.
if he throws 6 passing
Think what happened?
touchdowns, I believe would tie Kenny Pickett for the single-season ACC record.
Correct.
Now, that's not an easy ask, but you might as well give it a try.
Sure.
And if he's going to throw 6, I think Jacoby George can come down with one of them. I don't think he's missed back-to-back games without a touchdown this season. We're not sure if Restrepo played. Horton hit the portal and is going to Bama.
Yeah.
I think plus 115 is a nice number here.
No, not a bad look. I mean, Miami's going to chuck it. Last game of the regular season, Cam Ward playing. He's going to try to at least light it up. And when you saw Sam Levitt and Arizona State do the same in terms of the Big 12 championship, so we'll see how that plays out. I'm going to the Pinstripe Bowl. I like Boston College with the points. It's going to be a wet track. They're going to run the football. Grayson James, in terms of red zone opportunities, plus 250. Forget the running backs. Go quarterback sneak, RPO. He's got 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's a big kid. This kid plays gutty, blue collar, plus 250. Grayson James hits pay dirt today. I love him.
This show, I can't.
Why? He's gutty. Kid made me money against SMU. That's all that matters.
I like the descriptions that resonate with me.
Right. So if somebody's listening, big, blue collar. You know,
he is a big guy. There's no doubt about it. He's not
bigger than Castellanos, much,
but not nearly as athletic.
No, but listen, inside the 2, he could RPO power.
For sure. I would just say, by the way, Xavier Restrepo does have an anytime touchdown price. It is the heaviest juiced for the Pop-Tarts Bowl at minus 150. Cam Ward to throw 2+ touchdowns on one book, minus 265. 3+, plus 145. 4+, a 5-to-1 number.
What happened?
Just because you were alluding to it, though, Cam Ward was not available on the book we usually look at.
Yeah.
Literally, they just popped him.
Wow.
So
Big,
nice to see that,
More
he could
confirmation.
be,
There you go.
in
He's
the mix
playing.
here.
So
Might
I'm
only
I'm
play
going
a
to the
quarter.
other. I'm going to the other side of the Pinstripe Bowl. It's cold. It's rainy. We understand that in Yankee Stadium. Not overly windy though here in the Tri-State, and I think they've had some time to ingratiate themselves in Dana Holgerson's system. Dylan Raiola is back for the Huskers in one of the guys they have loved in this bowl preparation time and late in the season. It's the very talented speedster at the wide receiver spot for Nebraska, Ja'Cory Barney. Plus 180. Guy doesn't have a single receiving touchdown this year. He'll find his way in the end zone today. Does have 3 rushing scores. I am proud of the Freeze and the Friezo. 4th night of Hanukkah. Light the menorah. Find Pater. Jake Retzloff for BYU has actually scored a rushing touchdown in 4 of the last 6 for BYU. Hasn't thrown a passing touchdown in the last 4 games for the Cougs. Both A.J. Freeze and Joe Friezo on Retzloff. Kriskowski going with Carson Hansen. That would be the Iowa State running back at a plus 110 number. He did score in the Big 12 championship game. Miami pretty good defending the run. Can be susceptible through the air. Carson Hansen also can be a receiver out of the backfield. Those, the Pater picks for the CFT Bowl Bonanza. Now we try to find some plus money prices.
Shall we? The Grafratala right here on a Bowl Bonanza. So I will say the timing of this does work out nicely. My go for the loot is Cam Ward, 350 plus passing yards at plus 600. If Cam Ward today can throw for about 600 yards, he could set the ACC single-season passing yards record. What is interesting, though, and is for me now becoming one of the more intriguing stories of potentially the day, is FanDuel not wanting to post Cam Ward numbers. Mm-hmm. FanDuel finally posting Cam Ward numbers. For record, the 350 plus on that book checks in at plus 260, while DK, who's had up the Cam Ward numbers, have now eliminated some of the options, yet they're giving you his, 275 plus at around even money. FD's giving that to you at around minus 172. So we're kind of chasing our tail a little bit here.
Yeah.
It does almost still seem as if they're not fully sure whether or not Cam Ward plays, which is, again, for me, the security of backing his overs as opposed to a side, where if he doesn't play at all, you should be getting your money back.
Yeah, I think the books have been getting knocked around a little bit in terms of the props. When you see all these games trend to the overs, I could just tell you, Taylon Green yesterday had a prop at like 212.5. He throws for 341.
So
that was an 850.
like 2 drives.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, and you look at some of the explosive chunk plays, they don't want that type of risk, right? Especially when you have a player that's averaging 340 passing yards per game. So that could be a reason why maybe they're holding back on the numbers. In terms of my going for the loot, I'm going back to Boston College. The rushing attack is going to be very critical for Boston College to win this game. Kai Robichaux, in terms of his number, plus 100 plus yards at plus 210. I know you'll give me
I'll
the
give it.
Robichaux.
Robichaux. You
Robichaux.
got
There
farther
you go.
away somehow.
No, I was further away. I'm getting further, right? He's Cajun. Robichaux. It doesn't matter. 100 plus 210. Boston College in the rushing attack, get it done.
That reminds me of when we worked together on the radio and the Chargers backup running back.
Fidelli.
Kamani Vidal. Who he tries to make Italian and invite him over.
Make everybody
for
Italian.
Sunday sauce.
Robichaux.
Listen. It's not often. It's not often during bowl season we have a slate large enough or spreads large enough that we can find a moneyline underdog in the true sincerity of GT, FT, Leach, ECU outright against NC State. Blake Harrell, interim head coach, defensive coordinator for the Pirates, taking over for a 3-4 football team after Mike Houston was ousted. They won 4 of their final 5. They're going to beat NC State in the in-state showdown. More on CFT next.
In the heart of winter, when nights grow long, we come together under these lights. A team, united by purpose. Fans bound by passion. Each holding a small flicker of hope in their hands. At SportsGrid, we believe that even the darkest nights can't dim the unity we share. One team, one stadium, one shining moment. This holiday season, we shine brighter together. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There are plenty of bowl games until we see you again, which will be on Wednesday, New Year's Day, the first day of 2025, bright and early at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for our College Football Today pregame of the quarterfinal round of the College Football Playoff. But in the interim, we've got games on New Year's Day, 4 that lead up, or I should say New Year's Eve, 4 that lead up to our first CFP game in the quarterfinal round, that being the Fiesta Bowl between Boise State and Penn State, and 1 game on Monday, December 30th, the Music City Bowl in Nashville, in a really compelling matchup between Iowa and Missouri. The Tigers, a 2.5-point favorite against the Hawkeyes. 9-win Missouri, 8-win Iowa. Iowa, one of a very few programs around the country that has won at least 8 games each of the last 9 college football seasons. Lisi, guys, you look at this game, your early thoughts for the Music City Bowl in Nashville.
Under. I'll tell you that right now because, I can't take any other bet but that right now. I don't believe in either team, even though Iowa a little more physical in terms of the interior line, averaging 199 rushing yards per game. Flip side, Missouri's got the speed. Brady Cook, their quarterback, is going to play. Nate Noel, Theo Weiss, all their star skill players are playing in this matchup. But again, when they've stepped up against more physical teams, they get pushed around in terms of the interior. I can't bet a particular side. I would lean to Missouri just from the speed perspective because I don't believe in Brendan Sullivan, the Iowa quarterback, but that's a tough ask. I lean to the under 40.5. That being said, hot take. If I had to veto one bowl, this would be it. I don't even want to watch it.
But it's the only game on that
yeah,
that
but
bet.
the fact that
2:30 p.m.
Nah, it's a great landscape, Music City Bowl. Give me 2 other teams. I don't like Iowa. I don't like Missouri. They're killing the Music City Bowl. I'll say it. That's it.
Ugly.
Kill the whole segment.
Ugly. College football guy.
I'm interested here to see, Drink has the win over Ohio State in a bowl game, and Drink I actually enjoyed. It was almost a little wrestling-esque, like kind of like a heel. He's like, we're still in the playoffs. It's like, Drink, no, you're not, dude. You're lucky you're in the top 25. Yeah. Like, I want him to win this game, be like, how about us now? And it's like, brother, are you serious? I also think, Caleb, rarely does Iowa have an offensive opt-out where you're like, oof. Yeah. Caleb Townsend had one of the best seasons at the running back position in all of college football. If not for Ashton Genty, maybe wins the Doak Walker. So I think that potentially could loom a little large here heading into the game.
And KJ was mainly their offense. Over 40% of their over yardage and point production this year, as was evident in the final regular season game for the Hawkeyes against Nebraska. But a lot of that defensive talent, like the unanimous All-American in Jay Higgins, going to play, or at least scheduled to play, in the Music City on Monday afternoon. We have 4 games on New Year's Eve as your appetizer, if you will, leading into the college football playoff. Very compelling one that we'll talk about in just a little bit. That's Alabama and Michigan in the ReliaQuest Bowl, which is also a rematch of the Rose Bowl from last year to start off 2024. Here's a really good one. Top 20 tilt, Kev, between 2 9-3 teams. South Carolina, who is one of the hottest teams in the country down the tail end of this season, and an Illinois team that just always stuck around in the top 25 with 9 wins as well for Brett Bielema and company.
Sellers back.
Yeah.
Paid on the K-Dubs list.
Yeah.
Impressive. One of the most impressive additions of the portal season to me was them getting Air Noland out of Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon-esque in the way they brought Dante Moore in when everybody knew he didn't have the chance to play. South Carolina, Nolan cannot actually think he's going to beat out Lenore Sellers. That is a healthy program all of a sudden. Beamer's got cooking.
Yeah, I lean to South Carolina in the matchup. They won 6 straight down the stretch by an average margin of victory of 20.3 points per game. We know that Illinois is physical, right?
Yeah.
I like the over in this matchup. The biggest thing when you look at South Carolina, 3 big step-up spots. Clemson, they dominate with 267 on the ground, 243 in the loss to LSU on the ground. They beat up Texas A&M. They rush for 286 yards. When they're running the football, they're winning football games. But I like over 48.5. I think both offenses, Altmaier for Illinois, Lenore Sellers, they can run it, they can throw it. Give me the over, even though I lean to South Carolina.
The Illini 5-2 against the number as an underdog this year. We know how good they are as the dog with Burt as the head coach. Line opened at 10.5, trickled down under those double digits to 9.5, now back up to 10.5. We'll get to all the other bowl games that we will see on New Year's Eve and that ReliaQuest Bowl that has many compelling storylines in the Rose Bowl rematch from a season ago. We'll do all of that when we get ready for our third and final hour of college football today. Also a triple header in the National Football League that will be here for an additional hour to preview as well. But still, 3's up on CFT's Bowl Bonanza. Next.
In the heart of winter, when nights grow long, we come together under these lights. A team, united by purpose. Fans, bound by passion. Each holding a small flicker of hope in their hands. At SportsGrid, we believe that even the darkest nights can't dim the unity we share. One team, one stadium, one shining moment. This holiday season, we shine brighter together. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.